Hi, Anissa Coy here with Firehouse Education, and I'm here with this week's video column for Ask Anissa. And what we're going to talk about today is release forms and signatures. And what came into me was the question was asked, how did I have forms, did I have signature pages that I had clients sign to cover my tracks, if you will, or cross my T's and dot my I's? So, absolutely, my answer to that is absolutely yes. I have lots of forms and releases and signature pages that I have my clients sign. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this, okay? So we're going to go over some of the real important ones. The forms that I have in place in our business, I've created the system, okay, over the last, 10, 12 years or so, that I started seeing some problems arise and wanted to make sure that we didn't keep going through these situations, like a client told us to do something and forgot, or there was a prior damage on something that we photographed and talked to the homeowner about, but we didn't get them to sign on, and then they a week, 2 weeks later don't remember that damage was there, things like that. Or maybe a client doesn't want us to do something that we feel needs to be done so that the job gets done correctly. So that inhibits our ability to be able to guarantee, as we 100% guarantee, no odor when we're done with the job. So there needs to be releases signed and things like that so that you are covering yourself. So remember, this business that we're in the restoration industry, it can be a litigious business, all right? So every single file that you put together, your goal should be to be able to defend that file, if you will, in a courtroom or to an attorney, so that you have everything documented very carefully. The other reason to get releases and forms signed by your homeowners is so that it backs up your billing. So if your adjuster ever has any questions or concerns, you can always open this file up, and your file should always be an open file, okay, to an adjuster. And you can open that file up and share that with the adjuster, and then those questions can be answered and it can support your billing. So there are release forms that we have signed in situations. For instance, when someone has artwork or china, crystal. These are items that can have damage that is not able to be seen by the naked eye. It could have damage that was prior to the fire or caused by the fire, but either way, you do not want to accept liability for those damages. So we have release forms that are signed. If a homeowner will not sign a release form for me to handle grandma's china, then I do not handle grandma's china, okay? It's very important that you really stick to your guns on these kind of things, because trust me, I've been there, done that, and have regretted it when I didn't stand by getting my releases signed. The other things that we will have signed is, for instance, a disposal authorization form. Huge to have that signed before you throw away anything that belongs to someone. Your liability is huge. The other forms that we have are things like window coverings. The other thing would be if a homeowner says, hey, I don't want you to clean that room even though you're telling me you think it needs to be cleaned to get the job done right. Then I have a form that they sign that I can no longer, that they realize because they don't want me to do a part of the job I feel I need to do, that I am no longer able to guarantee this job for odor. Because one contaminated room can recontaminate my whole job. And then I could be getting a phone call from an upset adjuster and having to go back and re-clean a house on my dime. So you can see that it's very important to have forms like this in place in your business, and that's why we did this in our company. The other thing is, I didn't want to have to worry and be concerned, because obviously what we've just talked about are some pretty important things for you to have signed and in your file. So what having a system in place would enabled, or ensured rather, that no matter who was out on a job, because I'm not always out on all my jobs, then I knew that these forms were getting filled out and signed by the homeowners. So my file was complete and getting done correctly. So it's really important to have a check system, to have procedures in place and have these forms, because it will not only help you if you ever get into a situation where, as I said, you have to defend your file. It'll also help you in your billing to your adjuster. And let's not forget something that's very important here. When you are going through a loss with a homeowner, it's a very emotional, stressful, chaotic time for them. They might say, oh, don't worry, and tell you to do something, or okay you not doing something, and then they don't remember it. because in the middle of all of this chaos, they're not going to remember everything. They're emotional, they're upset, and they're going through a variety of emotions over the course of the time that you're with them on this job. So having things signed will help you cover yourself and know that you're doing what your homeowner asked you to do. And it will help remind them, if necessary, that, hey, you did authorize for us to throw out that 55-inch flat screen $3,000 TV. Okay? So these are really important things to have in place. You're really setting yourself up if you don't, and you're actually setting your homeowner up, because you're setting them up to be disappointed. If you have systems like this in place in the forms and the releases that you walk through very carefully so that your client and homeowner understands, they are going to feel more confident and assured that they have the right restoration company on the job taking care of them. So I hope that answered your question, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it valuable, please like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Firehouse Education. Also, we send out our video column every week on the R&R Magazine e-newsletter. You can subscribe to that by going to rnrmagonline.com and clicking on the online services and subscribe to the newsletter. And please comment, by the way, below. Let me know what value you got out of this video. Let me know if you have any questions for me, and maybe I will feature your question on next week's video column. Until then, this is Anissa Coy with Firehouse Education, and I will see you next week.